Hang in there, Houston fans. We'll show you which Astros to keep your eyes on today as the Astros try to win the series finale against the Florida Marlins. Coming right at you on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today it's the final game of this three-game series. The Florida Marlins trying to sweep the Houston Astros. Good afternoon, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. The Astros coming close. They're playing sometimes 5-6 innings of good baseball. They try to put the full 9 innings together for a win today, JD.
Yeah, one day it's the starting pitching, another night it's the bullpen, another day they don't score enough runs. It's all added up to a 1-7 start. Hopefully we can get things pointed in the right direction this afternoon. We'll keep an eye on Jay Happ making his second start of 2011, and these other performers who had good nights last night. Sanchez with a couple of hits, likewise for Hunter Pence. Carlos with a double, had a real nice night in the outfield with an assist and a real good play in deep left field.
And it's Anibal Sanchez on the mound for the Florida Marlins against Jay Happ as the Astros try to land the fish and prevent the Marlins from sweeping a series in Houston for the first time. We'll be back with the first pitch in just a moment. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Warm day outside, air conditioning on, and the Astros and Marlins play indoors for a second straight game. The umpiring crew just now coming out toward home plate. We've had pregame ceremonies involving Michael Bourne getting his second Gold Glove. It's a special tribute for a defensive player who takes away so many extra base hits. He said he gave the first one to his parents, and he's keeping this one. So there is Michael Bourne getting ready in center field, defending that Gold Glove this season and defending for the Astros pitching staff. He's a great guy to run down mistakes. Starting lineup brought to you by Xfinity for the Florida Marlins. It is Chris Coghlan in center field. Omar Infante at second base. Logan Morrison in left field. Mike Stanton's the cleanup man in right fielder with Gabby Sanchez at first base. John Buck the catcher. Wes Helms at third base. Donnie Murphy's at shortstop. Hanley Ramirez sitting out another game. Anibal Sanchez will be doing the pitching for the Fish.
Well, Jay Happ looking to bounce back after a rough outing last time out in Cincinnati, facing the Fish. And here at Minute Maid Park, he's been pretty darn good. He's made 8 starts. He's 4-1 with an ERA of 3.22. Happ, of course, came over last year in the deal for Roy Oswalt. Pitched quite well after putting on an Astros uniform. Help will come from Lee and Pence, along with the Gold Glove winner out there in center field, Michael Bourne. A little different look in the infield for the first time this year. Matt Downs gets a start. Chris Johnson with a day off. Q does the catching. Here's that presentation as Michael Bourne receives the Rollins Gold Glove. Well, that's a nice looking trophy.
Beautiful.
In Major League Baseball.
Brayton McClain, Ed Wade, Brad Mills, along with Michael on the field and the representatives of Rawlings there. Chris Coghlan takes Jay Happ's first pitch, and it's ball 1 to Coghlan. Coghlan leads the league in doubles with 5. He's hitting .222 with 1 homer, and he's driven in 3. This one goes in the air and to the left field side, foul. For a 1 ball, 1 strike count. You know, you showed us Jay Happ, how well he's pitched here at Minute Maid Park. 4-1 with a 3.22. Chance for him to do what Wandy Rodriguez did after a struggling start on the road for Jay, get established at home, JD.
Yeah, and you know, the starting rotation is supposed to be a strength of this club. Off to a little bit of a bumpy start, but just 1 turn around the rotation, 1.5 turns around the rotation. Too early to make any kind of a snap judgment. Team ERA is up over 6. So the starters have struggled. The bullpen has had their issues as well.
That one, a line drive to left field. Carlos Lee over to grab it. Location off a little bit, but it worked out for Jay Happ for a line drive out number 1.
Coghlan's a tough out. Good left-handed hitter. Hangs in there well against left-handed pitching. That off-field double last night off of a Fernando Abad. Good solid approach there.
Omar Infante, a .265 hitter, has driven in 3 so far this year. Infante has hit .333 against lefties, 4 for 12 in the early going.
A little cut fastball. Like Jay was talking about in the pregame show. It's fastball, cutter, curveball, straight change. And the number's not good last time out. He walked 5 in those 4 innings of work, but it was a very tight strike zone.
Line drive, left field corner. This one does land in play and gets Infante to second base on a 1-out double. That's his 2nd of the year. The Marlins lead the league in doubles. They had 6 of them last night.
Yeah, for a while there it was raining doubles. What, 3 in a row in the 7th inning.
That's when they got 2 runs to break the tie. There's that swing on the double by Infante. It
was a cutter trying to get in on him, but stayed out over the plate. Conversation now between Quintero and Happ. Presumably getting together on their signs with a man on second base. Ideally, you'd like to have that have happened prior to the game, but maybe that was a conversation, maybe something else.
Infante takes his lead at second. Logan Morrison's in the batter's box with a .333 average. A couple of homers, 5 runs batted in. 7th in the league in slugging. That one goes to left center field. In for a hit. Michael Bourne to his right. Here's the runner coming home. Infante scores to make it 1-0 on the RBI single by Morrison. And Morrison jumping right on that first pitch gives the Marlins the lead with RBI number 6.
Well, that's kind of been the MO for the Marlin hitters here in this series. Very aggressive early. And they see a pitch to their liking. They're going to go ahead and take a whack at it. 3 balls pretty well struck here to get things started in the top half of the first.
Mike Stanton comes up. And Marlin bench looking lively with a 5-3 record in the first 8 games. Stanton at 286 has 1 RBI.
Wait a minute. What was that?
What's going on?
What was that pitch?
Okay. Well, Jim Joyce is the home plate umpire.
You know, in half, as I mentioned, the real tight zone last time he was out there, and if it starts again this afternoon, that will be very frustrating.
He wants 3 baseballs. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count. Jim missed a call at first last night on the ground ball that proved to be a double play on Brett Wallace. Ron Culpa, Jim Wolf, Darryl Cousins joining him on this crew.
Yeah, that was the wait a minute pitch there, number 1. Right over the heart of the plate, bottom of the strike zone. So I'm guessing Jim called that one down. We'll see if he stays down there, and Sanchez have to make the adjustment. Tough though when you can't get that pitch down around the knees called.
Jay misses there, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Yeah, last time we thought he might have been getting squeezed as he walked 5 in 4 innings. He also gave up 7 hits and 7 runs. He kept trying to make those adjustments against the Reds, but the zone was pretty tight, and it may be that case again today. Broken bat, fly ball. Michael Bourne in center. Handles out number 2. It's always a good feeling. Behind 3-1 and you shatter a bat the way he did.
That's a big slugger like Stanton, a dangerous count for sure. But a little cutter moving away from the barrel, in on the hands a little bit, producing the broken bat and the lazy fly ball.
Stanton's retired, and now a man who has been on base in all 8 Marlins games. Gabby Sanchez, .375 average, 4 runs batted in for Sanchez. He was hitting 4th. And the right fielder Stanton was out with an injury. Another first pitch hit in the air, and Hunter Pence comes in with Bill Hall catching it in front of him. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left for the Fish. They lead it 1-0.
All right.
Bengino's.
What is his career versus the Astros? He's 3-0 with a 0.70.
Yeah.
Man.
Anibal Sanchez with the starting lineup brought to you by Xfinity, showing you Michael Bourne leading off in center field. Angel Sanchez at shortstop, batting second, followed by Hunter Pence, Carlos Lee, Brett Wallace, Bill Hall, Matt Downs playing third base today, getting his first start of the season. Chris Johnson resting. Humberto Quintero, the catcher for Jay Happ.
Anibal Sanchez, 27 years of age. We have not seen a lot of him over the years, but when he has pitched against the Astros, he's been awfully darn good. 4 starts, 3-0 with a 0.70 ERA, including 2 very good outings last year.
It's Michael Bourne swinging and fouling at strike 1. Michael's on a 4-game hitting streak, batting average .222. The Astros had some good at bats in last night's game. They banged out 11 hits, but they lost it 7-5. That's toward the left field line. Logan Morrison shading over there. Gets by him as he slides. Now here's Michael Bourne. Off to the races. And he jams on the brakes coming around second. Thought better of it and checks in with a double, number 3. Looked like maybe a triple, but Morrison was able to get back there.
Oh, boy. When you leave your feet as a corner outfielder and you come up short with a guy like Michael Bourne running the bases, that heartbeat starts to pound because Morrison realizes if he doesn't go get this one, Bourne is going to end up with an easy triple and maybe circle the bases. Luckily for Morrison, the ball ran out of steam and didn't get all the way to the corner. If it did, Michael would have perhaps been able to go all the way around the bases. Third base probably an option there, but with nobody out, not a bad idea to slam on the brakes. Now Edwin Rodriguez wants to come out and check with Morrison.
And Morrison with a diving attempt now walking in. And looks like he's favoring something.
He is, but it's funny. He's telling Rodriguez, I'm fine. Leave me alone. The reputation of this young guy is that he is a hard-nosed player.
Converted first baseman. He does not want to come out of this game, and he's not going to. It's fun to watch Michael turn on the Jets. It did look like a triple, but as you said, the ball didn't get that past
Logan Morrison. He's already got a bandage there on his left arm and a few scrapes with that dive as well.
Third double for Michael. Now Angel Sanchez, a .321 hitter who's driven in 4, gets a chance to advance him. And this fly ball to shallow right brings in Stanton. It's a hit in front of him. Bourne had to hold. Here's a long throw to third. Wow, what an arm. This guy has some tools. A single to right for Sanchez. Bourne makes third, but not without an exciting effort from Stanton.
And the first battle between A. Sanchez and A. Sanchez goes to Angel, but a couple of fairly lucky hits so far. Bloop double, now Bloop single in front of Stanton, who unloads that laser beam to third base.
He's going to be fun to watch. 21 years old. Now runners at first and third for Hunter Pence. 281 for Hunter. 1 homer, 4 runs batted in. He had a couple of hits last night. Out in front there, strike 1. Greg Biggio was telling Hunter in the clubhouse today that he really liked his single to right in the 5th inning. That drove in a run. He said, what about my double? He hit a double to right center in the 1st. And Bidge said, well, he liked that too, but especially the single. He said, if you concentrate on right field, you're going to pull other balls for hits. But thinking about right field is what Bidge liked about Hunter's approach on that one hit last night. On Friday night, Hunter saw 30 pitches in 4 at-bats. With Ricky Nolasco on the mound. Had 2 10-pitch at-bats. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Sanchez, similar to Nolasco, 4-pitch pitcher, fastball, curve, slider change. Does not have an overpowering fastball, but certainly has enough fastball to succeed at the big league level because of his complementary pitches. Quick feet there on the pickoff move. His biggest issues have been just trying to stay healthy. Last year he managed to do that. Won 13 ball games with an ERA of 3.55.
The throw goes over. He's 31-29 in his career. That ERA you mentioned for Sanchez against the Astros, 0.70, the best of any active National League pitcher against the Astros. Last year, as J.D. mentioned, he won both of his starts, had an ERA under 1 against Houston. There's a shot into right field. RBI single, Hunter Pence. Sanchez stopping at second. It's 1-1. As Pence takes it the other way hard. Michael Bourne scoring.
Good at-bats for the Marlins in the early going. Now the Astros respond in kind. A couple of soft hits, but a good solid line drive single by Hunter here. And there's that good off-field approach Biz was talking about. Slider And on the outside third up a little bit. Not a whole lot of depth to that slider. Didn't go down much. Just slid across the outside part of the plate.
Carlos Lee tries to get the 4th straight hit for the Astros. 200 his batting average. He's driven in 4 with a homer. There's a single, double, triple, and a homer, at least one of each. Big cut there, and he fouls it for strike 1. He really let the bat fly. He is 0 for 8 in his career against this right-hander.
Last year, the Astros had seen of Sanchez since 2007 because of the injury problems. Very limited work in the previous 2-3 seasons.
One ball, one strike. The Marlins have pitched well in the early games this season. Their ERA 5th best in the league, 3.08. El Caballo's fans are waiting. It's like a new poster they've made up since last year. Featuring some pretty spiffy artwork out there. 2 balls and a strike. Edwin Rodriguez club on a 9-game road trip. Day off tomorrow in Atlanta, then 3 with the Braves, 3 with the Phillies. This Marlins club with a 5-3 record, 1 game behind Philadelphia right now. Trying to sweep a series for the first time since last September 10th through the 12th at Washington. That one goes way foul. Into the second deck. It skips around. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hey, speaking of second deck, and we're approximately on that level. The suites are just a little bit above us, and we know that some Marines are up in one of those suites today, JD, because we got to meet them before the game.
Yeah, I don't know where they are, but
USO and the Astros bringing them out to a ball game today. Some of them from this area.
Pretty much every Sunday home game, I believe, right?
Yep. Yeah, they were down in a room across from the Astros clubhouse, and they meet with some of the players.
Ooh, talk about not having to work for it. Well, he's going to give it up. The other guy saying, man, I chased that thing.
Isn't that something? He's in a gracious mood on this Masters Sunday. 2-2 to Carlos.
I think that goes. I'm not so sure that's in line with crowd etiquette.
No.
I mean, once somebody else has the ball, ask for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It puts that other guy in a bad spot.
It does. He was very mannerly. Yeah. He kind of crossed the line for what most people would consider to be fan behavior standards.
I said, it's for my kid.
Yeah. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes with Brett Wallace on deck. Well, Ricky Nolasco really helped the Marlins bullpen, which had been strapped in previous games, by staying in for 8 innings Friday night. Last night, Javier Vazquez gave up 3 in the first 2, but then left after 6 innings and got the win, having surrendered 4 innings. That's taken the load off Edwin Rodriguez. Bullpenners this weekend. A turn towards second base.
Yeah. See how coveted those things are?
Yeah, they are. Nelson Figueroa with that one. Ground ball goes foul. Nelson's about to take the baseball anyway in his next turn. That's tomorrow night against the Chicago Cubs at 7:05 with Ryan Dempster to oppose him. By the way, that game is on My 20 tomorrow night at 7:05. And Wednesday night's game at 7:05 also on My 20. You might want to make a note of that. We know some people were searching on this channel, and the game was on My 20 a few nights ago in Cincinnati. So you may want to check those local listings a little bit more than you might have in the past, because there are more games on My 20 this season. 24, I think, total.
Yeah, I think 130 right here on Fox and 24 My 20 games. A handful of games we will not do this year.
Well, it was nice to get Jeff Bagwell in the booth again last night. He'll be with us again next Saturday and on all the Saturday home telecasts.
Unless his dream of becoming one of the mascots, Junction Jeff, comes true.
Well,
we'll lose him later. Last year we lost him to that hitting coach gig. Now he's angling for the mascot job.
Bouncer backhanded. There's the force at third. And the throw across to first. Excellent play by Wes Helms. And quickly 2 outs are made on that ground ball, getting Sanchez out of an even bigger trouble spot here in the first inning.
Boy, yeah, Carlos hit a number of balls hard in this at bat. This one not that well struck, but a tricky hop for Helms, and he handles it nicely on the backhand and turns it into a double play. And that's pretty slick.
Brett Wallace is coming up next. There's that slow-mo view of it. Wallace has driven in runs in 4 consecutive games now, and in 5 of his last 6. Slider breaks down and in for strike 1. Wallace on a 3-game hitting streak with a .241 average, had 1 homer and 5 runs batted in. Brett's 4 for 9 in this series with a long ball. Last night he drove in a run in the 8th inning, going 1 for 4, but had a 3-hit game Friday night. Single, double, and homer in that one. No balls, 2 strikes.
Sanchez broke into the big leagues in 2006. Was a 10-game winner that year, including a no-hitter. And then the injury problems started to crop up for him in ensuing seasons.
Wallace rolls 1 to second. Infante with the short throw on to Sanchez. And the Astros come up with a tying run. 1 run on 3 hits. They leave a man. Michael Bourne leads off with a double. Sanchez single to right field. Getting Bourne to third. Hunter Pence RBI hit to right. It's 1-1. Youngster in Astros gear at a very early age. Isn't that great?
Quality baby right there. Throwing some fries. Good lid, too.
Weaned on baseball and fries. John Buck takes ball 1. 258 for John. 1 homer, 7 runs batted in. Nice start, including an opening day grand slam for the newcomer to the Marlins, beginning a 3-year contract.
John Buck absolutely wore out left-handed pitching last year. Hit better than 400 against southpaws. And now he's up there with a 2-ball, no-strike count. Be a good time to clip the outside corner. Down around the knees. Elevated, got away with it.
2-1. Buck was the 4th Marlins player in history to hit a grand slam on opening day. And only the 2nd player in Marlins history to hit a slam in his first game with the team. Jeremy Hermida hit one in his first major league at bat back in 2005.
It's Jeremy's problem. Peaked too early.
Yeah, right. This fly ball sends Sanchez out, looking to Michael Bourne in center field. Michael handles out number 1. We go to Greg Lucas.
They got some lucky fans because there were enough runs scored to reach the max on the You Score as We Score promotion. Every run the Astros scored April 5 through the 10th, up to 20. Save $2 on field box tickets to the Padres game on April 16th. Now, remember, they're down to $11 and they're only available while supplies last. So visit astros.com/runs for those tickets.
Wes Helms making his first start of the year. Takes strike 1. The third baseman at .333 in the early going. Has a couple of doubles. And fans getting a nice discount there with the runs scored. Wes, one of the top pinch hitters, getting this call with Hanley Ramirez sitting out another game with the contusion on his leg. The Marlins have an off day tomorrow and they expect him back in the lineup Tuesday night. That was from the Friday night clean slide of Bill Hall at second base.
The Astros have had some advantages in this series. You know, the Marlins got in very late Thursday night because of the extra inning game. They played a night game at home. John Buck was off to a very good start at the plate, was not in the lineup. These last 2 games, no Hanley Ramirez, but they're threatening to sweep the series here if they can win this ball game this afternoon.
Something they've never done in Houston. In fact, the Astros have not even lost a home series to Florida since the 2004 season.
You know, it's so important to have depth on your club, and the guys that have stepped in. Hayes got the start behind the plate, had a big night.
It's rocked to right field. Hunter Pence backing on it. Makes a good catch.
And Greg Dobbs was the offensive hero for the Marlins yesterday, coming off the bench to get a start. All the outs in the air so far. That is not abnormal with Jay Happ on the mound. He gets a lot of fly ball outs, throws that cutter up in the zone, works effectively with a high fastball.
Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, Greg Lucas here for this Sunday afternoon game. And with the roof closed, the fly balls work well for Jay Happ in this ballpark today. It's a warm day, and Friday night we had a very good breeze blowing out to left field. So Jay would have found the conditions, had he pitched here Friday night, not as accommodating as they are today for him. Murphy fouled it back, strike 1. 174 for Donnie. He's driven in 3. It's 1-1. Back. Well, we were talking about the 2004 season, the last time the Marlins won a season series from the Astros in this ballpark. Back in those days, Roger Clemens, Andy Pettit, Roy Oswalt, all those guys very, very big on having the roof closed when they pitched.
Well, yeah, 2 reasons. 1, the wind. The ball carries better with the roof open. And 2, just you like to pitch in a controlled environment.
Deep drive from Michael Bourne. He runs it down up on Towles Hill. And the Gold Glover will come back with this one.
A little Gold Glove justification right there.
1-1.
Maybe we should give him some golden spikes too. On the ground he
stand. The Astros welcome the Chicago Cubs for a 3-game series starting tomorrow night. It's 1-1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Then the Padres come in for 4 to wrap up this first stint at home for the Astros this season. Now the Astros coming up here in the second inning have Hall, Downs, and Quintero up against Anibal Sanchez, who was signed as a free agent by Boston in 01. Florida got him in a trade in 05 after that season, along with Hanley Ramirez and others for Josh Beckett, Guillermo Mota, and Mike Lowell. A big deal in December of 05. Bill Hall on a 4-game hitting streak looked at ball 1.
It's kind of been the standing operating procedure for the Marlins throughout their history. Load up, make a good run, and then unload the high-priced veterans for some good prospects. And if you identify the right prospects, you can, cycle back and be good in a hurry. And this is a team that's on the rise, moving into their new ballpark next year. They may be able to hang on to some of these players now moving forward.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, these young players that are fairly inexpensive right now are going to cost a bunch of money.
Bill Hall moving back from that inside pitch.
Edwin Rodriguez, the manager, took over last year. Marlins played 500 baseball under Edwin. He is the first major league manager from Puerto Rico. Took over in June after Freddie Gonzalez was dismissed.
Much to the delight of the Atlanta Braves, who then scooped him up. Ground ball by Hall. He's thrown out by Infante.
Now it's time for the Coors Light freeze cam. And speaking of freeze cam, that's our cameraman Robin down here. Checking out action last night. John Buck pursuing a pop foul. There's Robin down there hanging out in the corner, staying with the play, holding his ground. But let's flash back to a couple years ago. John Buck into the cameraman, and we just employed the toughest cameraman in the business, obviously. John Buck. Robin knows how to draw that charge.
Robin had a sturdier base than the guy in Kansas City. He was very well planted. He had done his homework and was ready for that play. He could take a blow. Charging was not called on John Buck. Now Matt Downs with a 1-1 count, making his first start of the year. Chris Johnson getting a rest today. And Brad Mills said, yes, Chris is showing some signs of frustration. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Downs had the big 2-out game-winning double in the 9th inning at Cincinnati on Thursday. And now getting a chance to get more than 1 at bat, but actually he had 2 in that game. He came in a double switch, and in the second at bat of the game in the 9th, got a hit off Nick Masson. Rolled out to shortstop. And he talked about that after the game, JD, because usually guys off the bench get 1 crack. And on this occasion, he got 2 at Nick Masson, was able to learn from the pitching plan on him the first time up when he struck out and put that into play for his game win.
Yeah, and that's why hitting in the modern era, obviously there's been a lot of advances or a lot of changes in the game that have helped hitters, smaller ballparks, lowering the mound years and years ago and things of that nature. But one of the things that has worked against hitting is the specialization in the bullpen, and the fact that starters, 6 innings sometimes, even if they're going well, they get yanked out of the game. So you have a couple cracks at a starter and then a couple of bats against different relief pitchers who are usually rushing it up there in the low to mid 90s. Tough to get locked in.
Ball 1 to Quintero. Humberto takes, and it's an even count at 1-1. Jay Happ on deck.
Probably the extreme example of that was the Astros 6-pitcher no-hitter against the Yankees a few years back. I mean, how do you settle into a game plan when every at-bat is against a different pitcher?
Right. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Q. This is his 5th start. And J.R. Tolles has made 4 in the Astros' first 9 games. JR has hit well in the early going, 4-game hitting streak in his 4 starts. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And with this day game after a night game situation, that's the plan for Brad Mills, not to have the same catcher catch a day game after a night game. Quintero strikes out. That's number 1 for Anibal Sanchez in a 1-1 game through 2.
Tied at 1. It's time for our progressive fan of the game. We're up here in the suite because the Astros and the USO have teamed up for what they are calling Home Sweet Home military program. Every Sunday home game, the Astros are going to honor returning members of the military. And in this instance, we've got 6 Marines up here enjoying themselves in the suite, the food, the beverages, all of it. Way to go, Astros. These people deserve it. All right, introduce yourselves for the audience.
Sergeant Rhodes. Sergeant Martinez.
Sergeant Mata.
Sergeant Billen.
Sergeant Madrigal.
Sergeant Vanover.
Sergeant Bill, and you'll speak for the group, okay? What's this like for you guys?
This is it's outstanding. We're kind of blown away by the hospitality of the USO and the Houston Astros, and you know, when we're at home, it's good to be able to relax and know that we're appreciated.
Yeah.
You know, so.
What's the best thing about being back home?
Barbecue. The blue bonnets in the springtime. I mean, just being back in the States with our family and friends and around the people that, you know, support us, and that's why we do what we do. You know, it's for our families. So,
Yeah.
That's the most special thing for us.
So what all have you guys got to do today? You meet some players or get some autographs? What did you guys do?
We met the general manager. We went into the press conference room and got to meet at least 10 players.
Wow.
So they came in, meet and greet, gave us some autographs on some hats, and got a coin from the general manager. And the spread of food that they have in the suite up here is amazing. And you can't beat the view. They actually allowed us to go down on the
Watch
field.
some batting practice?
Yes, sir.
That's great. Well, to all of you Marines, welcome home. We all appreciate everything you do for this country. And you are our progressive fans of the game. Brownie, I got a whole box full of progressive bags here. So we're going to distribute those. But I tell you, it was great being up here with these folks during the national anthem pregame. You watch these soldiers stand at attention, and you get a good feel for what that song means to the folks that have to go out and lay their lives on the line to protect this country. We really appreciate you guys very much. Enjoy the game. Brownie, back to you.
Thank you, Bart. Well done. Enjoyed meeting with them before the game. 1-1 to count now. That's bounced to the right side. Bill Hall tracks it down to his left, spins around, gets it over to Brett Wallace in time. Retiring Chris Coughlin after the strikeout of the pitcher, Sanchez.
Yeah, nice play there by Hall, and a good read by Brett Wallace a number of times, because Wally likes to play way off the line, and a number of times he's drifted over to make a play on a ball that he's better off just going back to the bag, and here he starts but then retreats, and Hall able to make the play. Much easier 4-3 to make that play than to have to throw that ball to a pitcher covering the base on the run.
Close call at first for Ron Culpa. Just got him. 2 outs, and it's Infante now. Ball one to Infante, who doubled to left in the first inning. Sometimes it might be an easier call for the umpire if the runner or hitter takes that one last big stride than if he takes the shorter strides and runs through the bag. Maybe not. 2 balls, no strikes. It was in the air a little bit longer that time, but that was very close at first. And a good job by Ron Culpa. It's 3 balls, no strikes. Mets got 2 in the first at home. They lead the Nationals 2-1. They're in the 5th inning.
Well, Infante, good hitter, but not a slugger situation here with 2 outs, nobody on. You just start pumping fastballs over the heart of the plate if you can.
But that was high for ball 4, so Infante takes the first walk of the game for Jay Happ. Jay has a fair amount of base runners when he's on the mound, but really makes his best pitches usually, according to statistics, with men on base and in scoring position. Logan Morrison's the batter. An RBI single to left center was his first trip to the plate. And there's strike 1 for Jay Happ.
And I think what happens a lot of times with a pitcher, you're trying to be efficient, so with nobody on base, you're willing to attack a bigger part of the plate. And once the other club gets base runners, puts a man in scoring position, okay, now it's time to toughen up a little bit and not give in as much. Try to hit corners.
That makes sense. 0-2 to Morrison. Coughlin was the left fielder. He moved to center. Cameron Maben was traded, and Morrison takes over in left field this year. Has had a big series with 5 hits this weekend. Foul tip. Quintero holds strike 3. Second strikeout for Happ. No runs, no hits, and a man stranded. It's 1-1 in the 3rd.
Florida won. And we head to the bottom of the 3rd. This Friday, it's Jackie Robinson night. 7:05 game with the Padres in town. First 10,000 fans will receive a Jackie Robinson t-shirt presented by Chevrolet. All players and personnel will wear Jackie's number 42. Of course, retired all around Major League Baseball, but they break it out for that special game. Astros.com/Jackie, and you'll find a special ticket offer when you visit that site.
Jay Happ looks at ball 1 as inning number 3 gets underway for the Astros hitters. He put us down a sac bunt in his first start in his only plate appearance. Jay looks at it. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count. Jay pitched against Anibal Sanchez last year in Florida. Florida won that game 9-0. Jay pitched well, though, giving up 3 runs in 6 innings. But this right-hander on the mound right now has been awfully tough every time out against the Astros. 2-2. The first time was back in 06 at Florida when He beat Roger Clemens 3-1 with 7 shutout innings. Last year he had 2 wins over the Astros. One here, 5-1, and the one over Happ in Florida, 9-0. Bounce to the left side, and it trickles into left field for a J. Happ opposite field single. Hit number 4 for the Astros. Good way to start an inning with a pitcher getting a hit. I'd say at least 42% of the time a pitcher leads off the inning with a hit, that team scores.
All right, let's see. Let's put it to the test.
That's a complete guess.
Well, and keeping in line with that, did you know that the odds that a PBA professional is going to convert a 3-10 split 48% of the time?
No, I had no idea. You know, I was just thinking about that last night. No, just kidding. Here's Michael Bourne, who doubled inside the left field line and scored in the first inning. Happ is not being held on. Where'd you come up with that stat?
There was bowling on in the press dining room when I was having lunch. And they threw that graphic up there.
48% of the time converting 3-10. That's really good. Third baseman in tight as Bourne looks at it, and it's 2-0 as Wes Helms is camped there on the doorstep with Michael Bourne.
Bet you for Earl Anthony it was about an 82% conversion rate.
Bourne looking at a steady diet of pitches away. Takes that one, and it's 2-1.
Outfield shifts the other way from Michael. Coughlin out there in center, a step or two towards left center. Fox Tracks brought to you by Steel. Showing you a pattern where Johnny Ball Sanchez is trying to stay away from Michael. Doesn't want to give him something he can yank through that hole between first and second.
Line to second, throw to first. Happ got back. Bourne was ready to turn on it on the 3-1 count, but hit it hard right at Infante.
Yeah, I have to say, Michael Bourne might get my award for toughest luck so far this year in terms of hard outs. He's get into a fair number of hard outs already this year. Good at bat here. You get the count in your favor. You know you're going to get a fastball to hit, put a good swing on it. Not rewarded for it. And, pitchers who don't run the bases a whole lot sometimes get caught adrift on a ball like that. Good base running by Happ.
It was. Sanchez versus Sanchez. Angel fouling it, strike one. Angel won the first round with a single to right.
Now we've got Sanchez on the mound, in the batter's box, at first base, and in the Marlins bullpen.
That's right. A for Sanchez day.
These are the things that consume us on a daily basis.
I like that 3-10 split, though. That was different. 1 ball, 1 strike. When Anibal pitched his no-hitter as a rookie, he was the first rookie since Bud Smith to pitch a no-hitter in his rookie season. That was only his 7th major league win that matched Smith's total. He was a little lefty who pitched for St. Louis.
Yeah, and really didn't last very long in the game.
No, he did not. Anibal became the 19th rookie in Major League history to throw a no-hitter. Bobo Holloman was the strange one back in 1953 for St. Louis Browns. Fly ball center field. Coughlin still going back. And he tracks it down. 2 outs. Now back to first, and it'll be Hunter Pence batting next. Bobo Holloman wound up 3-7 in his rookie season. That was his only major league season. And he got his first major league victory with a no-hitter. So did Wilson Alvarez of the White Sox in '91 and Bert Hooton of the Cubs in '72.
Now Bert, that was I think his 4th major league start.
Yeah.
Bobo Holloman, kind of like the nightlife, I think.
Was that what happened?
I mean, I don't know if that's all that happened. There's plenty of guys with that approach that lasted a long time in this game.
Well, that's true. Bo Belinsky, though, did a pretty quick flame out, didn't he?
It's either Bo. If your name's Bo.
That must be it.
Bo anyway. Yeah.
And there was Bo the Baylor. Swing and a miss makes it 1 ball and 1 strike.
Bo knows.
Colorado 4, Pittsburgh 4. Bottom of the 4th at Pittsburgh. Pirates are kicking up their heels a little bit. They've had some good games in the early part of the season. Bouncer up the middle and right over second base. Hunter Pence is 2 for 2 in this game. A hit to right, a hit to center. Yeah, one game this year with a hit to all 3 fields. He's spraying the ball around.
Well, he got the base hit last time on a slider away. The ability to go the other way with that pitch sometimes will buy you a fastball later on. Sanchez starts a curveball and then a little cutter. He pulled off a little bit, then a fastball over the heart of the plate and up a little bit. Hunter does a nice job. Good short stroke, got on top of it.
Carlos Lee bounced into a double play in the first inning. Goes for the high heater and he fouls it back. Strike 1. Checking that bat. Hitter wants to know where that ball was hit on the bat. Kansas City 5, Detroit 2 after 6 at Detroit. Alex Avila hit his 3rd long ball already for the Tigers. It's 1-1. Texas 1, Baltimore nothing. Middle of the 5th at Baltimore. Derek Holland's pitching for the Rangers. Phillies lead Atlanta 2-0. Bottom of the 6th with Cole Hamels on the mound. Shane Victorino hit his first home run. 2 balls and a strike. Oakland A's are really pitching well. They're scoreless at Minnesota after 2.5. That's not a big surprise. They pitched well last year.
Yeah, they've a bunch of young guys first on the scene the last couple of seasons.
Sanchez breaks one off and it's 2-2. Joe Gonzalez pitched shutout ball for them yesterday. Red Wallace is on deck. The Astros have 5 hits. Mike Barnett has to like that. He would welcome a big 2-out hit here. Sanchez missing and it goes to a full count. In 4 of the Astros' 7 losses, they've had the lead at some point. They're 1-7. Runners will go for Brad Mills on this 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. Brad was talking about last night's game, addressing some base running situations from last night. He likes to get right on it right away after a game. Let everybody know what is expected in certain situations. There's Happ, who led off with a single, and Pence behind him.
Big pitch coming here. They want to confirm, make sure they're on the same page. Want to stay away from Carlos most likely, and you throw that little fastball out of the plate and up a little bit, he'll bang it into that right center alley on you. Breaking pitch.
And you were asking Brad Mills in his little session with the media before the game today about teams that are in the situation of the Astros right now. 1-7. How do you want your players to approach it as far as running the bases? You want to remain aggressive? Yeah.
Yeah, was he more worried about his team becoming timid or pressing and trying to do too much?
That's true. That's the way you ask it.
And he said that he was more concerned that they would get timid. That, because maybe they've had some struggles either at the plate or on the bases and in the field, that they get out of their comfort zone and You got to play this game loose, and you don't want to be crazy forcing the action, but he wants his guys to be aggressive on the bases, and you can't play this game with fear.
Carlos Lees puts one in the air toward the left field line. Now Logan Morrison comes in. And it's no runs, 2 hits with 2 men left. The Astros mount a threat, but it's turned away, and it's tied 1-1 after 3. And you saw earlier the names of the people involved in today's telecast. We've heard from Bart Ennis. Greg Lucas is here. Jim DeShays. Here's truly Bill Brown on a Sunday afternoon. As the Astros try to get it rolling against the Florida Marlins. They got a run in the first to tie the game after the Marlins scored on a Morrison hit. It was Hunter Pence's single that tied it. And this Sunday afternoon crowd watching now as Jay Happ goes out to face Stanton, Sanchez, and Buck in the 4th inning for this Florida club. Thanks to Dave Van Horn, who's receiving the Ford Frick Award for excellence in baseball broadcasting. He will be enshrined in the Hall of Fame at Cooperstown, New York, and he joined us on the pregame show today, talking about his work with this Marlins club and the new stadium next year, hopes for the future, in addition to his fine work with the Montreal Expos. There's ball 1 to Mike Stanton.
Dave Van Horn, longtime broadcaster up in Montreal.
He started when the franchise did, and you listened to him a lot when you were a kid, right?
Yeah, we had our local radio station in my hometown for a period of years. It was an affiliate of the Expos, then they moved over to the Yankees. Just to listen to Dave and Duke Snyder.
That's right.
Standing broadcast team.
2-1. Judge David Hittner was at a Sabre meeting recently in Houston talking about growing up as a Brooklyn Dodger fan, and Duke Snyder was his favorite player. And then he got to go to Dodger fantasy camp and meet him. And Duke Snyder gave him a hitting tip. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But never got to hear him broadcast JD, but I always heard he just really made excellent points, and he was very honest and frank. Stanton's hit by the pitch from Happ. He leads off by reaching here in the 4th inning.
He was silky smooth in the broadcast booth, just like he was in center field.
Yeah.
And you got to pitch Stanton in, and Jay able to get him to swing through that high inside fastball previously, and then try to go back in there and just went in a little too far, but probably rather miss way in than out over the middle of the plate off that big dude.
That one lodged for a fraction of a second there between his rib cage and his elbow. Now Gabby Sanchez, he hit a fly ball to second base. There is strike 1. Sanchez really established himself last season as a good RBI man. So with the young players like Morrison, Stanton, Sanchez here in the lineup. There's a fly ball toward the left field line. Carlos Lee goes over. It's going to be out of play. The Marlins have high hopes for moving into that new stadium next year. And they will, of course, have a retractable roof stadium with air conditioning, all the amenities, and look forward to having competitive clubs. They're in this tough NL East with the Phillies and the Braves. That is a difficult division.
And Mets are hanging in there so far in the early going, playing pretty good baseball. Most folks think that the Phillies are the best team in the National League because of that starting pitching, and the Braves capable of pushing them. But again, this Florida club could surprise. Talented bunch of young hitters, good solid rotation. Bullpen seems to be pretty good as well.
Upstairs, snap throw to first, and there it is in the fourth inning. Humberto Quintero waiting until the fourth for his first throw to the bases.
There's only been one base runner prior to this one since the first inning. A 2-out walk to Infante last inning. So he hasn't had a lot of opportunities. He's been chomping at the bit back there. Let's take a shot at somebody.
Now 3-2 to Sanchez. We'll see if Edwin Rodriguez might think about starting the runner. 50 pitches into the game for Jay Happ.
You're not overly concerned with the ground ball double play because Happ is a fly ball pitcher, but they should have been.
Downs to second, Hall to first. Ground ball double play.
Those are just the second and third outs that Jay's gotten on the ground in this game. Cogman grounded out to second base last inning, and now this double play ground ball to Downs. So staying put was the percentage play. I think you're more fearful of a swing through and a strikeout throw out double play than you are this ground ball double play with Happ on the mound. And Stanton's had some leg issues, so they're probably hesitant to get him started anyway.
Now it's John Buck. Buck fouls it back for strike one.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to have, is to be a fly ball pitcher, but to be able to get that ground ball when you need it most to get that double play.
That's a great asset for many a pitcher's gotten out of trouble with one of those. 1-1. Some of the best pitchers in the game, Hall of Fame types, have been guys who have had to deal with a fair amount of base runners, but they just have that knack of getting the double play ball when they need it the most. I'm trying to think of let's see, who would be guys that would come to mind for you in terms of getting a lot of double play.
Well, I would say that, you know, a guy like Mark Burley probably gets a lot of them. Hampton.
Oh yeah,
Mike Hampton got all those ground balls.
Yeah, he was great.
And he was good because being left-handed and quick to the plate, he was tough to run on.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3. Double play and a strikeout in the same inning for Jay Happ. He keeps it tied 1-1. MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. Major League Baseball officially starts in Houston. The Colt 45s make a big hit. And they debuted at Colt Stadium with an 11-2 win over the Chicago Cubs. There it is. Colt Stadium opened in 1962 and was used for 3 years. And it was big. It was a pitcher's park. It was hot. The grass was long. The mosquitoes were huge. That was quite a place, JD.
Gee, I'm glad I missed it.
Yeah, you should be. You have to hand it to the fans who came out to those games, though. Don't know if you could tell with that shot of the grandstand. There was no roof in the grandstand. Talk about being in a broiler pan. But they were very, very devoted fans who had waited all those years and finally got their first major league team. And of course, they were used to supporting minor league baseball for many, many years with the Buffs.
It was good for weight control. Come out and watch a doubleheader on a Sunday afternoon and drop 10 pounds.
Flared into shallow left, and that drops in for a hit for Brett Wallace. Takes the big turn, and he now has a 4-game hitting streak. Third inning out of 4 in which the Astros leadoff man has hit his way aboard.
Yeah, the Astros have been very effective with the lob wedge this afternoon. That's at least their third bloop hit. That barrel can be overrated sometimes. Just a few inches above the hands. 60 degree, just drop it in there nicely.
Wallace aboard. Bill Hall, the batter, grounded to second in the second inning. And here we are as it goes foul on a Sunday afternoon, enjoying this game in air-conditioned comfort, perfect conditions. Back in 1962, fans would be sweltering in July, we'll say, on a Sunday afternoon. So that was the origination of Sunday night baseball. The Colt 45s were given permission to play Sunday night games because of that extreme heat. There you see no roof over the grandstand.
Helicopter flying overhead gives us those pictures.
Didn't realize we had shots like that in those days. No balls, 2 strikes. The Astrodome was under construction while Colt Stadium was the home of the Colt 45s. So this is the 50th season, getting back to that first game in 1962. And a sweep over the Cubs to start it all. Bill Hall.
You know those mosquito coils? Can you still buy those? You light them and they kind of burn the...
I think so.
Yeah, those were a big seller at the sessions at Colt Stadium.
It was quite a place. You know, a temporary facility, but very good. It was built in about 6 or 8 months. So everything was in a rush to get the franchise going. That first Colt 45s team had won the Grapefruit League title in Arizona. There's a lot of enthusiasm. Hall strikes out.
You know, back in the day when the Giants were playing at Candlestick Park, if you went to a game and it went extra innings, a night game, and you stayed to the end of the game, they would give you this little cross in the way they would quad a candlestick for hanging in there. And I got to believe they should have had something at Colt Stadium back in the day if you hung in there in the conditions of the summertime in Houston for an afternoon game.
Other than a stretcher to carry you off. I think I made a mistake. I think I said they won the Grapefruit League title. It was the Cactus League title out in Arizona. Matt Downs grounded out. Fly ball to right field. Stanton moves over for it. Stanton has it. There was just a feature on Bob Aspromonte, who got the first hit for the Colt 45s, and he talked about winning that Cactus League title at Geronimo Park in Apache Junction, where they played. They're Superstition Mountains, and he let Turk Farrell borrow his car one day. There was absolutely nothing to do. We were out in the desert, and there was nothing around there. Something like one hotel and a couple of restaurants. The players were just bored silly. Humberto Quintero is batting now with the runner at first and 2 outs. And Farrell brought back that car. He had gone hunting. He had snakes in the back seat, all kinds of stuff. Wow. Line shot, right field corner. Here's the turn. Brett Wallace heads for third base. Dave Clark is going to wave him around third and stop him there as the throw comes back to Gabby Sanchez on a double by Quintero. His first double, first extra base hit. Mike Stanton got it back in.
And nice swing of the bat there by Q. Dave Clark came way down that third base line, wanted to give Brett Wallace every opportunity to score with 2 outs and the pitcher coming up. But at the end of the day, Clark, he said, he's just not going to be able to make it. Watch Dave. He's cranking him and working his way down that line, hoping for a little bit of an errant throw. Any way he could send Wallace. A well played out there by Stanton in the corner, who's got a cannon hanging off his right shoulder. He makes a good accurate throw in. And, obviously with 2 outs, you want to be aggressive, but you feel like you got really no chance. You've got to throw up that stop sign.
So Jay Happ, who got a hit through the left side of the infield, comes up with 2 men in scoring position. Strike to Jay, who could give himself a lead here in the 4th. He had a good view of that right field corner. Stanton with the tremendous arm. Dave Clark took it all in. So the pitcher gets to the plate here. That ball is fair, and Jay Happ gives himself the lead. Wallace scoring. Quintero's coming in. The ball kicks away from Morrison and into second base. With a good hustling base hit is Jay Happ. It's 3-1. Nice piece of hustle for a double for Jay Happ. 2 runs batted in.
Good call, Dave Clark. Threw up the stop sign, gave Happ a chance, and Happ delivered 2 for 2. Bud Norris had an RBI double yesterday. And again, this ball not exactly blistered. He's fought it off. Morrison can't get it on the carom. Happ takes advantage and scoots into second base.
It's 8 hits for the Astros. 3 doubles. Michael Bourne, who has one of those doubles, takes ball 1. Jay making things happen. This is the first multi-hit game in the majors, and first multi-RBI game in the majors for Jay Happ. 1 ball, 1 strike to Michael Bourne. And Happ and Hunter Pence are the 2 Astros with 2 hits in this game so far. One ball, 2 strikes to Michael. On the pitcher's stat sheet, Wilson Figueroa has 2 hits. Red Myers has 2. And now Jay Happ. Total of 7 hits by the Astros pitchers. Pretty good production in the early games.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good hitting staff. I would say certainly better than average. Usually you have a couple guys who just have no chance at all.
I was thinking about the 1986 staff.
Nepper was really good.
Okay, Nolan could, every now and then,
not much.
Home runs.
Scotty was had a chance. Nolan wasn't very good. I was awful. Dr. Death was awful. Did he tell you otherwise?
Yes, he would. Rolled up the line, hurrying. Sanchez fires, and he gets Michael Bourne. The Astros break the tie with 2 runs on 3 hits. 2-run double for Jay Happ gives the Astros a 3-1 lead after 4.
Burger, by AT&T, by Gullo Automotive, and by Jack in the Box. Let's take a look now at our AT&T Trivia Challenge for the day. And this one actually ties into a topic that you guys were talking about a little bit earlier, no-hitters. Our question is, 5 pitchers have thrown no-hitters in both leagues. Who are they? We'll have the answer for you a little bit later. Unless JD and Brownie get it first.
5 pitchers who have thrown no-hitters in both leagues. Well, you throw Nolan out there immediately.
Nolan Ryan, yeah.
Any kind of no-hitter trivia, that's the first answer.
Right.
How about Nomo? I think Hideki Nomo.
Okay.
Hideki, is that his first name?
Hideo.
Hideo.
Yeah.
Hideo Nomo.
How quickly we forget.
We do, don't we? 3-1 ball game as Helms leads it off. And Jay Happ, who had to run the bases, got a little dirty. Delivering ball 1 now. Let's see. What about Al Leiter? Did he do it in both leagues, Greg?
No. First 2 are right, though.
All right.
So basically, if I get 1 more, I've done more than my share.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, my original question I made simpler because 3 of them pitched no-hitters in 2 different centuries. But we'll just go with the 5 names.
Brad Arnsberg.
That was not a clue.
Oh.
Are we going into the Wayback Machine for any of these?
One of them. But he's very, very famous.
Oh, okay. So we're not talking like Pud Galvin or anybody like that.
Or Jim Darrington. No, nothing
Oh,
like
how about
that.
Jim Bunning, speaking of Jim?
You got that one.
There you go. 3 balls and a strike to Helms.
Halliday didn't throw one with Toronto, did he?
No, I've got one for you that, though, a clue. Oldest pitcher to ever throw a perfect game. Well, his second one was.
Not Don Larson. Let's see. Bunning threw a perfect game. Already got him.
He wasn't the oldest. Of course, Nolan was the oldest to pitch a no-hitter of any kind.
Helms fouls it away. Well, you may have stumped us again.
How about
Well, there's a award named after one of them.
Cy Young.
That's it.
let's just throw him out there.
We were going to guess him, but we weren't sure.
Okay. We're down to 1.
One
Gaylord
more.
Perry?
Nope.
I'm thinking multi-league guys.
Shot into left field. Single for Helms.
All right. Time is up because we just had a routine out. 5 pitchers have thrown no-hitters in both leagues. Routine hit, actually. 5 pitchers have thrown no-hitters in both leagues. Who are they? Well, first was Cy Young, Jim Bunning, Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson. And it was Young, Nomo, and Johnson that pitched no-hitters in 2 different centuries.
Yeah, how can we forget the unit?
Well, we did somehow.
Yeah, the most recent of all of them.
When it comes to forgetfulness, we can certainly master that. There's ball 1 to Donnie Murphy. Murphy hit the fly ball to center field. Michael Bourne tracked it down. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of the Major League Baseball Urban Youth Academy in Houston. They had special festivities at Sylvester Turner Park. 2 balls, no strikes. You mentioned Jackie Robinson Day coming up on Friday. All the players will be wearing his number 42, and a lot of the Astros players will be fanning out around Houston, making school appearances. A strike makes it a 2-1 count. Pitcher Sanchez on deck. Cubs will be here tomorrow night. They're tied 4-4 at Milwaukee after 3. Arnsberg talking. J.R. Tolles listening. Foul back. It's 2-2. That's a good opportunity for Brad to talk with the Astros catcher when he's not involved in a game. There's a lot to be learned on the bench when not playing.
Yeah, and that's, JR pictured there, but Jason Castro, that's pretty much the role he's been relegated to this year, is just learning by talking and listening and watching. take advantage of the opportunity, and unfortunately that's the hand that Jason has been dealt. Didn't want the change. Going to go fastball away.
Foul back. Still a full count now on Murphy.
Murphy not a hitter who has a lot of power, so Happ willing to throw that one over the fat part of the plate. Got a 2-run lead, doesn't want to walk him.
But he does, and runners at first and second for Sanchez, who comes up now trailing 3-1 after walk number 2 of the game for Happ. So if he puts down a sacrifice, he gets the potential tying runs into scoring position. Struck out first time up.
Quintero out in front of home plate, signaling the infielders what the bunt defense would be here. First and second situation. Helms, the base runner down at second, is not particularly fleet of foot. He might take a shot at him.
Red Wallace is moving in, now charging, and here's a throw to second, and they got him. A pickoff for Humberto Quintero. Helms is gunned down from 2 to 6 as Sanchez fails to make contact on strike 1.
See Q's up in his haunches, ready to throw. That play may have been by design, not a pitch out. But let's throw a high fastball that a guy's going to show bunt on and then pull the bat back. A slow-footed runner's got to try to get a big jump. And just a perfectly executed. I'm not sure that's the case, but that I would not be surprised to find out that was the play that they put on. Let's throw a high fastball. Hitter shows bunt. Slow-footed base runner can't afford to be caught too close to the bag because he's susceptible to being forced at third. So he takes a pretty aggressive secondary lead. And then the rest is history as Q guns him down. Just another victim of Q school.
Bunted in the air again and off the screen. We thought that first pitch was a strike, but apparently there was an appeal to the first base umpire, Ron Culpa. Apparently he did not bunt at it, so the count's 1-2 now. First pitch was ball 1. The Helms is hung up, and that's a difficult situation for the base runner. You're expecting contact on the bunt. You want to try to get as big a lead as you can to get to third, and the guy bunts through it. Somewhat vulnerable.
And the hitter can't go after that ball because it's so high. It'd be difficult to get that bunt down.
That's a very big out, number 1 on the pickoff. Quintero had 7 of those last year to lead all major league catchers. We talked about a center fielder like Michael Bourne can be so helpful to a pitcher, or the double play ball in the last inning for Happ. Also a catcher who picks off runners from second base. Bunted foul, and that's a strikeout. Number 4.
Talk about promising inning going by the wayside.
In the first inning, the Marlins took the lead on a Logan Morrison hit to left center field, scoring Omar Infante, who had doubled. The Astros came back as Hunter Pence put a single through the right side, scoring Michael Bourne, who had doubled. And Jay Happ broke the 1-1 tie with a 2-run double inside the third base bag to make it 3-1 Astros. Now a runner at first and 2 outs in the 5th with Chris Coghlan the batter. Happ delivers. Coghlan's 0 for 2. Casey Coleman's pitching for the Cubs today at Milwaukee against Giovanni Gallardo. He's been called up, and James Russell will come out of the bullpen to start here Tuesday night against the Astros, with 2 of the Cubs starters on the DL right now. 1 ball, 1 strike. At Minute Maid Park, it's 3-1. The Astros lead the Marlins. Tomorrow night, the Chicago Cubs, who are 4-4 right now, playing at Milwaukee, which is 4-5, will be the next opponent on this 10-game homestand for the Astros. That's cranked foul left field side. A 1 ball, 2 strike count. This Marlins outfield of Morrison in left, Coghlan in center, Stanton in right, averages 23.6 years of age. Very youthful group of outfielders. Bounce to first base. Wallace has time to regroup and gets the out. No runs, a hit. There were runners at first and second, nobody out, but there's a 0 on the board for Jay Happ, who leads it 3-1. Lead over Florida. Jay Happ has been a central figure in this game. He gave up a run in the first, but has posted 4 zeros since then. The cotton candy is ready. Fans have enjoyed what happened in the fourth inning, and now they can do some more eating after Jay Happ broke the 1-1 tie with his 2-run double inside the third base bag. Angel Sanchez is 1 for 2. There is strike one. Almost clipped him up and in. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Angel hits the pitch way to right field very well, so pitchers try to keep him honest by coming inside sometimes. Try to keep him from leaning out.
And slip a little two-seamer over the outside edge like that. Pitching 101.
Yes, that is. It's 2-2. Alberto Arias continues to make progress. He is in Florida, throwing some batting practice now as he tries to work his way back from the disabled list. Up the middle, and that will get into center field. Sanchez 2 for 3.
Well, there's a little hitting 101.
Yeah.
Maybe advanced level. Don't abandon the game plan. Straight back through the middle of the diamond. Another 2-hit game for Angel.
He has really been productive in that number 2 spot in the lineup. Hunter Pence is 2 for 2. RBI single to right. Another hit went to center. That's 9 hits for the Astros compared to the Marlins 3. No errors in the game.
Now the Astros have had 3 or 4 games slip away in the middle and late innings so far this year already, so really would be nice to play add-on, give that bullpen some breathing room. Nice little 6 or 7 to 1 lead heading into the late innings would really be nice.
Yeah, for a struggling club, it's nice to have that cushion. It's 1-1. Manager kind of likes it too. Doesn't have all those tough decisions to make in a tight game. Throw goes over. Clint Barmas continues to do work as he is coming back from a broken bone in his hand, but Sanchez has filled in quite capably, especially with the bat. Bouncer through the left side. Hutter has gone to right, to center, and to left with his 3 singles. Two men on for Carlos Lee with nobody out.
Similar situation to Carlos's at bat back in the first when he grounded into that 5-3 double play. He can make amends here. Good swing of the bat by Sanchez, followed up by a good solid single by Pence, taking advantage of that hole on the left side. But the Marlins playing for a double play.
Carlos bounced into that twin killing in the first inning and then had a fly ball to left in the third.
Some activity now in the Marlins bullpen.
That's off the end of the bat. It trickles into right field. Sanchez coming home. Stanton will hold the ball. Now he throws into the cutoff man, and it's 4-1. RBI single to right for Lee. His 5th run batted in.
Sometimes you need a little good fortune. The Astros had plenty of that today. 4 or 5 relatively soft hits. Carlos a little sheepish for that one. Cue shot right off the end of the bat.
Sanchez scoring. That's the 7th run he has scored this season. Bobby Meacham has a customer at first. The Astros have had a lot of traffic. Bullpen action for the Marlins. And it's Brian Sanchez. He could be the 3rd Sanchez in the game for Florida. But for right now, there's not going to be a change for Randy St. Clair.
Never mind player of the game. We're going to have to give a Sanchez of the game award.
Brett Wallace looped a single to left in the 4th and scored. He's 1 for 2. It's 11 hits for the Astros now. He looks at ball 1.
8 singles, 3 doubles. How about a big fly on top of all that? That would provide that cushion we're looking for the Astros bullpen.
Big fly right here makes it 7-1 Houston. Strike to Wallace makes it a 1-1 count. The Astros scoring 5 runs in a game last night. That is their high in a game this season. They've tied their high for hits in a game with 11. Out to shortstop. Murphy to second, Infante to first. 6-4-3 double play. Pence scoring. And the Astros now make it 5-1.
No RBI credited on the double play, but another run comes across. Astros now have a 5-1 lead. If you were with us at the start of the ball game, we showed you some players to keep an eye on, and they performed quite well. Happ having a nice day on the mound and at the plate. Sanchez another 2-hit game. Hunter 3 out of 3. Carlos with a knock and an RBI.
Bill Hall has grounded out and struck out. This one toward right center field sends Stanton going, and Coughlin running hard deep into right center, bouncing, staying in play. Hall to second base, taking a turn, still running to third. Relay throw to third base, offline. A triple for Bill Hall and a 5-game hitting streak. First triple for Hall this year.
Well, it gets a lot of air under it, but the ball really carries well out the warning track in front of the Astros bullpen. Well, should be able to make this easy enough. The way he goes, and that has to be the thinking with 2 outs. You have to feel very confident that you're going to make third base.
Matt Downs is 0 for 2. Strike one to Matt. He's grounded out. Had a fly ball to right. First triple this year for Bill Hall, who has 20 in his career. Downs, 27 years old, from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Went to the University of Alabama. Had a very good spring training. 1 ball, 1 strike. And on the pregame show, I believe it was last night, he was saying, well, it was great to make the club in spring training. And of course, there was an opening because of the injury to Clint Barmas. But now I feel that I have to prove myself to stay. He hits this one to right center field. Another long run. Coughlin now adjusts his route, but he misses the ball, and that will drive in a run. And Downs into second. Coughlin tried to adjust and get over for the catch, and his dive came up short. So Downs makes it a 6-1 Houston lead.
When you see other center fielders fail to run balls down, you get an appreciation for what Michael Bourne does here at Minute Maid Park, covering that expansive center field here. 436 to straightaway center field. This ball's got some slicing action on it, and by the time Coughlin recognizes that, it's too late to make the adjustment and catch up. A little power fade there off the bat of Matt Downs.
Coughlin gave it everything he had at the end. But it's an RBI double for Downs, and the Astros lead at 6-1. Pitching change, back in a moment. He brought an ERA of 0.70 for his career against the Astros for 4 starts into this game. Given up 13 hits and 6 runs so far. And Matt Downs is at second base. That runner could be charged to him if Brian Sanchez doesn't get the third out here before the run scores. Brian is a native of Beaumont, who went to Lamar University. He's 1-0 with an ERA of 0.
Brian, pretty effective reliever for the Marlins. Last year in particular, career best in ERA, appearances, innings pitched, and strikeouts. Born in Beaumont, as Brownie mentioned, pitched collegiately at Lamar, Nederland High School.
Intentional walk to Humberto Quintero will bring up the slugger Jay Happ, who's 2 for 2 with 2 runs batted in. Rodriguez club brought a good ERA into this game, 3.08. But it's been a rough one so far for him. Hits are sprinkled throughout the Houston lineup. Everybody in the starting lineup has at least one. Hunter Pence has 3 hits in the game. And Jay Happ with 2 hits, 2 runs batted in. We'll get a chance to bat with runners at first and second now.
Edwin Rodriguez might be going with the theory, what are the chances that the starting pitcher is going to get 3 hits against us in one day? throw out all the other considerations when you debate strategy. You're probably going with, no way is he going to have a 3-hit game.
And Sanchez got his first win Wednesday night against Washington. He had one 4-inning appearance April 3rd against the Mets. Didn't give up a hit in that game. First time he's been on an opening day roster. Strike to Happ, who's the 8th Astro to bat here in the 5th inning.
See, Jay's got it going on today. He's pitching well, having a great day at the plate. He's got the uni dirty. He's just doing it all. He's like a real ball player, not just a pitcher today.
Sanchez missing there. And it's 1-1. Clay Hensley pitched last night. He and Sanchez both pitched at Lamar University for Jim Gilligan, although Sanchez played the outfield at Lamar. And Bryan has had 8 years in the minors. 73 miles per hour, and that floater gets a swing and a miss.
What's he throwing up there? Some kind of a forky, scroogey, some palm ball maybe?
Not sure, but something off speed with movement.
Tumbled almost like a knuckleball.
Sure
like
did.
A hard knuckleball, but I don't think he features that pitch.
Played baseball, football, basketball, ran track at Nederland High School. Do it again. 74 miles per hour. He gets a strikeout. The Astros send 8 to the plate in the 5th. 3 of them score on 5 hits. They lead it 6-1. Hands of the game shows you the arm of Roberto Quintero, one of the strong arm catchers in Major League Baseball. He gets another pickoff. He had 7 last year, and Sanchez unable to bunt at that ball. Helms is picked off at second base by Sanchez.
Q gets in those situations, and his eyes get big, starts to salivate, he senses the prey. It's like one of those National Geographic shows, you know, when the lions are circling the wildebeest.
Yeah. Q got it on to second base, and Sanchez with the tag. Now it's Infante coming up in the 6th inning, as Jay Happ has a cushion, a 5-run lead, and the Astros have out-hit the Marlins by 10, 13-3. Infante has one of those 3 hits, a double his first time up. Looking at ball 1, he also has drawn a walk, with Morrison and Stanton to follow here. Infante takes it, and it's 1-1. Anibal Sanchez at 4 2/3 innings allowed 13 hits, 6 runs with no walks, and he struck out 2. To right center field, Michael Bourne calling. 1 out.
Somewhat similar to last night's ballgame, the Astros took a 4-1 lead into the 6th inning, and the Marlins were able to push 3 across to tie that game. Jay's got a little bit more breathing room. And it's kind of what we were talking about earlier. Just play a little add-on, take the heat off of everybody. Makes this man's job a little easier. Makes it a lot easier on that bullpen.
Logan Morrison looks at it. It is strike one to him. He has an RBI single and a strikeout.
I think the difference, we talk a lot about last year starting 0-8, this year 1-7, and the comparisons, and obviously very similar in the one-loss column. But last year, if I remember correctly, the Astros just couldn't score.
Yes, that's right.
It's so difficult to put any runs on the board. They've had some decent offensive games so far this year.
No balls, 2 strikes. Jay Happ, like Wandy Rodriguez, has rebounded from his road start by pitching well at home. 1-2. Nelson Figueroa gets the call tomorrow night against Ryan Dempster. Dempster 0-2 with a 6.59 ERA for the Cubbies. That game on May 20 at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Last year 0-8, 214 batting average. More extra base hits this year through the first 8, 20-13. ERA worse this year. You're right.
I mean, similarity being that the Astros are near the bottom of the league in most categories, but they've had some better offensive games this year, which needs to get turned around. Fielding's been spotty as well. They've committed more errors than just about everybody in the league.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes for Jay Happ Sunday afternoon. He's been out early this weekend. Part of the Fan Fest activities, getting their autographs. Saw Larry Durker last night. He was here for an autograph session. He's going to be riding in the MS 150 next weekend. Strikeout, that's number 5 for Jay Happ.
Softer breaking ball here. Catches Morrison out in front. Second time he's punched out this afternoon.
Mike Stanton hit a fly ball to center in the first. He was hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. He came up after a double and a single, worked the count to 3-1, and Happ got him. Now lines to Sanchez. Angel with a play for a 1-2-3 6th inning, and the Astros lead it over the Florida Marlins in the 6th, 6-1.
Bourne will lead it off, but a reminder that you can save over 50% I should say, on Astros baseball this season with Price Matters Days presented by HEB. Available every Monday through Thursday home game. You score a View Deck 2-ticket, hot dog, HEB chips, and 16-ounce drink for only $10. Visit Astros.com for tickets. Remember, a weekday is starting tomorrow. Back to you guys.
Oh, yeah, and the Cubs are in town. Thanks, Greg. 6-1 Astros. Astros come up with Michael Bourne leading it off in the home 6th inning. He doubled in the first, line to second, and grounded out to the pitcher. It's fouled away. There's strike one on the fastball from Sanchez. Showed Jay Happ some wicked off-speed stuff in the last inning. JD.
Yeah, I went over and checked with Tommy Hutton next door. It's a forkball that he throws. And sometimes if you throw that forkball, not a split finger fastball, but a forkball, a little wider grip, and kind of let it squirt out, it'll act like a knuckle. Look at it right there.
1-1. Last year, Brian began the year on the disabled list with a strained hamstring. So much better way for him to open 2011 than a year ago. He was a second-round pick of Kansas City in '99. 1-2. He moved along to San Diego, Philadelphia, Washington before signing as a AAA free agent after the '08 season with the Fish. Very good acquisition for them because he's pitched well now for 2 previous years coming into this one for this club. 2-2. He had a 2.56 ERA in '09, and last year 2.26 for Brian. And last year he struck out 54 in 63 innings.
Last 2+ seasons, that's the 3rd lowest ERA among National League relievers, bested only by Mike Adams and Heath Bell. Not a real hard thrower. Normal clock at 84, saw him at 86 earlier. So his fastball is, well, it's well below average, but that forkball is so soft it makes his fastball effective enough.
Good point. Bourne with a high drive to left field sends Morrison back to the wall, and that one for Michael Bourne is off the wall. Extra bases into second with an opposite field double. He got some lift on that hit to left, his second double. The earlier one was a pop fly double just inside the line.
Fastball moving away from him, and it's pretty good wood on it. Morrison retreats to the wall. This boy, look, he didn't catch that one right in the chops.
Yes,
he may have. He's shaking up right now. He may have taken that one in the face.
Starlin Castro of the Cubs, their young shortstop, took a throw from the catcher in the face last night. He brought his glove down too soon.
Yeah, he played from the left. He had that headlong dive into the warning track down the line early in the ball game. Now this carry him in the face. It's been a rough day for him. A couple of punch outs.
That's 14 hits for the Astros, and here is Sanchez now. Pitch inside, ball 1.
Strange days indeed.
Right into the face off the wall.
That's what Carlos has learned to do so well, to read those balls, know when he's got a chance to make a play prior to the ball hitting the wall or when to back off and be in position to play the carom.
There's an art to playing a ball like that. 1-1. Of course, the big green monster at Fenway presents a similar challenge, but it's much higher. Carl Yastrzemski gained a lot of skill in playing balls off that wall back in his day. Sanchez in the air to left center field. Coughlin with Bourne tagging, and Bourne is going to just draw the throw and stay at second. 1 out. Coughlin had a sore shoulder in spring training, didn't do a whole lot of throwing, but no point in testing the situation here. And it's Hunter Pence, 3 for 3. RBI single to right, single to center, single to left for Hunter. Batting average 343 for Hunter.
Well, with a 5-run lead, you're not thinking too much about taking chances on the bases, but that doesn't mean that the Marlins should just forget about Michael Bourne out there, because if they don't pay attention, he would be inclined to steal third base.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point, because the Astros don't have a lot of power. There's ball 1.
And that's what I think the thinking should be for Michael in this situation. Well, I'm not going to be too aggressive trying to steal this base, but if they leave me alone, if I feel like I've got a 90% chance of getting that bag, then I'll go for it.
The teams that don't hit a lot of 3-run homers are reluctant to shut down the running game when they have that possibility, even with the 5-run lead, because the teams who hit homers aren't going to stop trying to hit homers late in games. So this is just the way they're going to have to try to score runs this year when they have Michael on base anyway, or maybe Hunter. That pitch at 70 this time. Off the fork ball, it's 2-1.
Well, that's the other thing too. Standing out there at second base, if he can read Sanchez, if he can see his grip and be convinced that he's going to throw the fork ball, that would be a good pitch to run on, because it takes a while for that one to get to home plate.
Shortstop diving. Good play by Murphy. Low throw, and Sanchez saves it. Gabby, line scoop to the backhand side. 2 outs.
Well, Hunter with a bid for his 4th hit. That may be the hardest ball he's hit all afternoon, but Murphy able to make a spectacular play on him.
That's a tough play. Had it right in the end of his mitt. Bullpen action for the Marlins right now. Randy Choate, the left-hander. Edward Mujica, the right-hander, throwing. Carlos Lee's 1 for 3 in RBI. Ball 1 from Sanchez. Choate came in and faced one batter last night. Red Wallace, the left-handed hitter, on deck, so that might be why he's warming up.
Sanchez smart there at first base just to hang on to that ball. Sometimes you see a first baseman with the ball on the end of his glove will open and then close the glove again to get the ball more firmly secured. But then you might see the umpire say, hey, you didn't have control, that's a bobble, and call the base runner safe.
You might. Buck scrambled for this one, knowing that Bourne was the runner. Had to get there quickly to prevent advance.
Couldn't find the ball because he didn't want to take his eyes off of Bourne.
That's what speed will do. Everybody's aware of that base runner. Line drive, left field corner. Carlos trying to keep it fair, but Buddy English wouldn't do it. He was standing there watching it go foul.
First hit it, I thought fair all the way, but he must have known the way he hit it, got out around it, had some hook spin on it, that it was likely to go foul.
He must have. It looked fair from here off the bat. Cubs 4, Brewers 4. They've played 5 in Milwaukee. Fielder and Braun have gone deep for the Brewers. Braun has hit 4 now.
Watch out when those two get on a roll.
Absolutely. The Reds have the top spot right now by a game and a half over Pittsburgh. Chicago's 2 back, Milwaukee 2.5 behind in the very early days of the NL Central. 2-2 to El Caballo. It's a stop by Buck on ball 3, and the count is full. Detroit's batting in the last of the 9th with Kansas City up 9-5. Miguel Cabrera hit number 4 for the Tigers. Washington and the Mets tied 3-3, moving to the 9th at Citi Field.
Chris Young's made a couple nice starts for the Mets already this year.
He has.
7 innings of 1-hit ball today.
Citi Field could be a good match for him.
Fire in the hole. Look out, folks.
And another good match for a guy with a new club this year. San Diego and Aaron Harang.
Very similar pitchers, Young and Harang, both extreme fly ball pitchers. Here's that tumbling action on that fork ball. So tough to stay back.
Three and two outs. New ribbon board can bring a lot of color to this ballpark. It flashes different colors on that level of the stadium. Off the end of the bat into right field. Stanton in. Stanton sliding, and he really got there for a nice catch to end the 6th inning. No runs ahead, a runner stranded. Marlins make a couple of good defensive plays, and it's 6-1 Astros. Take this lead, and Jay Happ has really pitched well. He gave up 2 hits back-to-back in the 1st inning. Since then has allowed only a single to Wes Helms. He's walked 2 and hit a batter. He begins inning number 7, and Gabby Sanchez, who's been on base in all 8 Marlins games, has not been on base today. He's 0 for 2. Happ got him to ground into a double play in the 4th inning. Delivering ball 1. Jay's thrown 90 pitches to this point. It's 2 balls, no strikes. The Astros minor league teams have played only a few games. Oklahoma City's 1-2, losing last night to Memphis 6-2. Doug Arguello was a losing pitcher. J.B. Shuck had 3 hits. Tommy Manzella drove in a run. In the air to right center, Hunter Pence. 1 out for Happ.
It's a losing proposition for a hitter to go after that high fastball from Happ. Difficult to do much with it, but it looks good coming in.
9 outs in the air for Jay Happ, if you include the line drive to shortstop to end the last inning, hit by Stanton. John Buck has hit one of those balls in the air, caught by the center fielder, and he struck out. Smacks this one to left center. Carlos Lee watches it sail over his head, go back toward the bullpen wall, and Buck is in with a double. His 3rd of the year. Hit number 4 for the Fish. They were 4th in runs scored in the National League coming into this game. They'd scored 36 runs in 8 games.
Middle of the pack last year in the National League in runs scored. I suspect they'll do a little bit better than that this year. These are the tricky ones in this ballpark, the ones that go just beyond the scoreboard into that cutout area.
Carlos has to get back on those, but that amounts to going to his left and then jutting back. So the routes are quite different in this ballpark for a left fielder. There is first pitch to Helms for strike 1.
That's why, you know, some guys will position themselves more towards the end of that run right there, the end of the scoreboard, give them a better angle to retreat towards the Marlins bullpen, knowing that a ball hit over their head to the wall is likely going to fly out or be off the wall. But you still have to take care of the corner too, and that's the problem. If you go too far towards left center and the ball's hit down the line into the corner, possibly give up a triple, which you almost never do down the third baseline in this ballpark because it's only 315.
Right. And the shortstop in this ballpark has to try to get out to left field and cover whatever he can. Has to play caroms that get by the left fielder and kick back toward the infield. 1-2. Texas Rangers are leading after 8 at Baltimore 3-0. Adrian Beltre hit his 3rd homer. Ian Kinsler belted number 4. Holland, the starter, went 6 for Texas. Blocked by Quintero. 2-2. Nolan Ryan has to be pleased with his club's start. Texas 7-1.
Lost for the first time yesterday in the first game of a doubleheader against Baltimore. Young Zach Britton dialed up a dandy. And then the Rangers took out their frustration in the nightcap. Scored 13 runs, I believe.
Yeah. They're 7-1. That's the best record in the major leagues right now. 6-0 on that first homestand. Brad Mills' club trying to notch a win here today with Jay Happ leading the way. And he would be the first Houston starting pitcher to notch a win this season. Fernando Abad got the win in relief. Popped up. Bill Hall retreats into shallow right center and calls for the catch. 2 outs. Bringing you up to date now. Here's the game summary for the Astros. Jay Happ's 2-run double broke the 1-1 tie in the 4th inning. Carlos Lee knocked in a run, trickling one into right field in the 5th, followed by a Bill Hall triple to right center field. And then here's the RBI double by Matt Downs past the diving Chris Coughlin. It's 6-1 Astros. They've out-hit the Fish 14-4. Donnie Murphy, the batter. Hanley Ramirez comes out to the on-deck circle. Pitcher spot due up next for the Marlins. Happ and Quintero talk it over. Hanley injured on the slide at second by Bill Hall with a contusion to the leg from that slide. Murphy hit a fly ball to center. Michael Bourne tracked it down. Then he walked. Murphy fouls it for strike 1. White Sox are putting it on Tampa Bay 6-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning at Chicago with 2 home runs from Paul Konerko to give him 3. Rough start for Joe Maddon's club, now losing Manny Ramirez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tampa Bay, like Houston, 1-7 to open the season. Fly ball sends Michael Bourne back into left center field. Happ gets another fly ball out. And he's had 11 of those in the air. Here in the 7th inning with God Bless America coming your way next from the field. It is 6-1 Astros.
These soldiers and all those who bravely and proudly serve our country, please join Joe Prince as he leads us with the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Prince.
Marlins have won the first two. JD, they have never swept a series in Houston, and it looks as if the Astros have a pretty good chance to prevent that from happening.
Yeah. That's kind of the scenario we talked about earlier. Get the early lead, play add-on, give the bullpen a little breathing room. Not sure if Jay Happ will come out for the eighth or not. He's up over 100 pitches now. We'll see. But first things first, Randy Choate, the lefty, on for the third time for the Marlins this year. The veteran. We saw him for one batter last night. Oftentimes that's the plan with Choate.
Double switch. You saw the third baseman Emilio Bonifacio, who just went into the game. He's batting ninth. Choate is in the seventh spot. Wes Helms out of the game. Ball one to Brett Wallace. He's 1 for 3. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Last night we talked about the fact that Choate last year led the American League in appearances with 85 with Tampa Bay, and yet in the 85 games pitched 44 innings. He doesn't usually stay in very long when he comes in.
Usually it's a big situation. Come in and get a tough left-handed hitter out. And you can see why with that drop-down delivery that he features, why he would be so tough on lefties, but righties probably get a good look at him. In this instance, I'd be surprised if he doesn't stay in, though. A 6-1 ball game.
Yeah. Showed last night. Got Michael Bourne, the only man he faced.
Well, there is a right-hander warming in the Marlin pen.
All the way. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Marlins have 2 lefties. They also have Mike Dunn from the left side in their bullpen. That gives them the luxury to move Choate in and out quickly with another in reserve. Choate was signed by the Yankees in '97. Edward Mujica is that right-hander. Randy was traded to Montreal and moved along to Arizona, Milwaukee. And that is a strikeout. Red Wall is still standing there as it's out number 1.
Yeah, and I think what Wally's saying is that he called it a strike. It wasn't. He didn't call it. He didn't call it swinging, I don't believe.
No, he didn't. He just called it a strike. Jim Joyce.
Well, he is going to make the change.
Edwin Rodriguez takes the ball from Choate. Back in a moment with the score 6-1 Houston.
pitching change, but if you move or if you go out of the town, you can see every Astros game this season subscribing to MLB.tv. You can see every game live on demand on your computer or your favorite devices. Visit Astros.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. If you move to Alaska, for instance, you don't have to miss a single game. And that's a good idea for all baseball fans. And also, I have to say, it applies to other teams too, but we only care about Astros. So MLB.tv is the place to go. Don't forget, email foxsportshouston@yahoo.com. That's the easiest way. You can get on through Fox Sports Houston website. We want to have some good questions for Brownie and JD. It's going to be part of the pregame show on Tuesday. foxsportshouston@yahoo.com. All the time, anytime you can write. Now back to the game.
Thanks, Greg. And Edward Mujica comes into the game with a 1-1 record, a 4.91 ERA, facing Bill Hall, who has a triple in 3 at-bats. He gets drilled by the first pitch from Mujica. He's tossed out of the game. And that must be because of the Bill Hall slide into Hanley Ramirez Friday night. That would be drawing a conclusion.
That's interesting because we never heard anything out of the Marlins camp that they thought that was a dirty slide or, you know, a cheap play. Even Hanley said, no, it's just good hard baseball. So I don't know if there's any history between these guys beyond that. That's an awfully quick ejection.
Sure is. Jim Joyce tossed him after 1 pitch. They hadn't faced each other before, so no history between the pitcher and the hitter. And you're right, we had seen no indication of anything that the Marlins suspected. Bill Hall's clean slide on Friday night being anything other than that. And Ramirez said it was a clean play in one of the quotes. But he was drilled by the first pitch.
I'm really surprised by that.
Unless it was just a situation, you know, sometimes a team says, well, if we have a winnable game, we're not going to take care of business that way. But a game like this, all right, that's when you do it. But still, there's nothing to suggest that they thought that Hall did anything wrong.
Right. There was no, at the time of the play, there was no reaction from the Marlins. After the fact, you know, Hanley said all the right things. And I think that's what Edwin Rodriguez is pressing his case, saying, come on, man, we're not throwing at anybody. My guy's coming out of the pen. The first fastball got away from him, hit him in the back pocket, and you're going to run him?
And Jim Joyce was saying to Rodriguez, it's not my problem. Whatever they were talking about. And that could be, you know, Rodriguez might have said, well, now I'm burning up these pitchers or something like that. So now the Marlins will be forced to use another pitcher. Here's the slide by Hall into Hanley Ramirez Friday night.
Ramirez suffered a contusion. Pinch hit today, but has not played in the field the last couple of games. Good hard slide. Stayed low. And again, Hanley quoted in the paper the next day saying, hey, he's just playing good hard baseball. That's what you're supposed to do, try to take somebody out. So I have a hard time making the link between the play and that pitch. Jim Joyce did not have a hard time apparently making that link.
No, he didn't. Mujica tossed after 1 pitch, and the bullpen will have to be used some more here with the score 6-1. Houston. And that means Ryan Webb, who was not warming up, came out of the bullpen, played some long toss from behind the mound, and it'll take him a little time to get ready because the Marlins were not anticipating using another pitcher here in the 7th inning.
Well, it's been fairly busy, working 5 times already this year. No wins, a loss, a 6.23 ERA for 4 1/3 innings of work.
They'll be facing Matt Downs. A tough day for this Marlins club with 5 pitchers now working. Off day coming tomorrow for Edwin Rodriguez's club, but as you indicated, the bullpen appearances have been piling up, although the relievers have compiled very good numbers for this Florida club. Brad Mills' club has done a pretty good job in the hit column today. The best certainly for the Astros this season by far, and the best in terms of runs in a game by far. By 1 so far, with Downs coming up next. It's only the 7th inning. Another note from the minor leagues for the Astros yesterday. Corpus Christi now 1-2, winning last night 9-8 over Tulsa, and J.D. Martinez had 3 hits, 2 doubles, drove in 4. In his early days with the Hooks this season, Jimmy Paredes had 3 hits as well. 2 names to watch as far as those in the future for the Houston Astros.
J.D. Martinez, it seemed like every time we looked at these notes last year, he was getting 3 hits.
Yeah.
That guy can flat out rake.
Well, we've had fun today. Jim Deshaies, Greg Lucas, Bart Ennis, pregame crew with Art Howe, Kevin Eschenfelder. They'll have more for you on the postgame show afterwards. Tomorrow night, the game is on Channel 20, My 20 in Houston. And then we're back on this same station on Tuesday night with the Cubs in town. Matt Downs drove that double to right center field to drive in Bill Hall, who had tripled in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. So his first start of the season's gone well. Got the big hit in Cincinnati on Thursday to win that game, and that was a double. So Downs already has a pair of 2-base hits. Cincinnati has scored 3 in the first so far at Arizona to get that game going against Tony Saunders. That's driven to left field. Downs deep to left, and Logan Morrison goes back and makes the stab. He got turned around a little bit, but then lunged for out number 2 on a hard hit ball.
I guess that's payback for some of the soft hits the Astros had early in the ball game, because this is one good swing of the bat by Matt Downs, and he had Morrison twisting this way and that. Makes the play, knocks out a couple of windows. Let's see who's hiding back there. Anybody home?
Entered the lair.
Yeah.
Hard hit ball by Downs. Alberto Quintero doubled and scored in the 4th through an intentional walk in the 5th inning.
Expected to see Goldie Hawn popping out behind one of those doors.
That's strike 1 to Q. Jay Happ is on deck. It's been a quiet day for the Houston bullpen.
If you've never watched Ronan Martin's laugh in, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Cole Hamels and the Phillies shut out Atlanta 3-0, beating Derek Lowe with a save from Jose Contreras, his 2nd. Quintero to center field. Coughlin churning back, still going hard to the warning track, off his glove, off the wall. Stanton picks it up. Bill Hall coming home to make it 7-1. Throw to third base, and the slide. He is out. Quintero winds up with an RBI double, gunned down at third. But the Astros put together another scoring rally here in the 7th. And Mike Stanton gets it back in, but it's 7-1 Houston. On this one, as Humberto Quintero smacked it to right center field. Chris Coughlin way back got a glove on it, then Stanton picked it up, fired to Infante, and then there's the relay to get Quintero at third to Bonifacio.
Talked about it before Hall had his 2-out triple. If you're going to go for third there, you got to make sure you're going to make it, and probably doesn't mean a whole lot in this game. The Astros with a comfortable lead, but I imagine it still will be addressed either by Mills or one of his coaches. Will just remind you, hey, 2 outs, you're already in scoring position. No need to try to get to third base. What happens to the base runners a lot of time? They're carrying a certain amount of speed into second base, and then somewhere between second and third, they start to decelerate. Like that extra 90 feet gets the best of them. They lose a step, and they get thrown out. Boy, Coughlin's had to make this run a lot this afternoon. He's just been banging some balls into that right center alley.
15 hits for Houston for a new high this season. Bonifacio batting in the 9th spot, entered the game in the double switch, taking ball 1. 2 balls, no strikes. The Astros, you're right, have sent those outfielders into the gaps. They have 2 doubles from Bourne, 2 doubles from Quintero, another from Happ, another one from Downs. 6 doubles in the game and a triple from Hall. Bonifacio takes, and there's a leadoff walk.
Jay Happ working here in the 8th inning. I believe he's the first Astro starter to go beyond 7.
Yeah, Brett Myers went 7.
Lonnie went 7 the other night. Leadoff walk. That'll bring Q to the mound. A little chat, buy a little time for the reliever to start to crank it up in the Astros pen.
Coughlin's 0 for 3. Double play situation here for the Astros with Infante on deck. White Sox down Tampa Bay 6-1 behind Gavin Floyd. Strike 1 for Jay Happ. He's at 106 pitches for the day. Jeff Neiman lost it for the Rays today. The Rays fall to 1-8. 1 ball, 1 strike. Colorado won at Pittsburgh 6-5. Yoeli Chacin, the winner. Fly ball back in left field. Carlos Lee taking care of out number 1. The Astros have kept Coughlin off base today. He's 0 for 4.
Yoeli Chacin, pretty good young pitcher for the Rockies. Keep an eye on him.
Absolutely.
Nuri Rodriguez, Mark Melancon warming up in the Astros pen.
Houston Street got his 4th save for the Rockies today. Omar Infante has doubled, walked, and hit a fly ball to center. Flares that one out of play. Strike 1. Happ with a win today would be 5-1 in his career at Minute Maid Park. And a victory today would mean his major league record would be 20-10. Morrison's on deck. In the air, and middle infielders go back for it. Angel Sanchez underneath. 2 outs. Logan Morrison drove in the game's first run after a double by Infante. Since then, he has struck out twice. Derek Holland and Texas blank Baltimore 3-0. Jeremy Guthrie. Neftali Feliz picked up his 3rd save. Home runs from Adrian Beltre and Ian Kinsler.
Kinsler's got to have 4 or 5 already, doesn't he?
He has 4. Beltre has 3. Runner takes off. Here's the throw. Sanchez with the tag. Safe. Bonifacio steals second. It's his first steal of the year and his first attempt.
Yeah, that's a head scratcher in a 7-1 ball game. I mean, to me, you almost have to be able to steal that base standing up to justify running in that situation. That was really close.
Very close. That might be discussed on the bench.
Foul back. Yeah, when scouts rate players, obviously they talk a lot about their tools, but the baseball IQ important too.
That one looks like one of those personal stat steals. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, and I think a lot of the times it's just a misunderstanding of the game. You've got a young player who has speed, and maybe his manager has told him, look, I want you to be aggressive, try to steal bases. That's why you're on this club. So he gets out there and I'm going to steal his base without a consideration for the game situation. Down 6 runs in the 8th inning.
It was really close despite a huge jump. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The outs remaining for the Marlins are 4. So they're down to a precious few, and he just about got gunned down for the 3rd out.
Yeah, that would have been a slow jog back to the dugout.
A 24-pitch 5th inning puts him at 115 for the game. And it's 3-2, but he didn't give up a run in that 5th inning. He's pitched shutout ball since the 1st. Astros starting pitchers brought an ERA of 6.93 into this game today. And yet this could be their 4th quality start of the year. And a walk to Morrison brings up Stanton. 4 walks for Happ.
This is how you get back into a game like this. A couple of walks and then somebody knocks one out of the ballpark, and Stanton certainly qualified to do that. And Brad Mills is going to try to negate him by bringing a righty in.
116 pitches for Jay Happ. 65 strikes, 51 balls for Happ. Win number 1 well within reach for Jay, who has driven in 2 important runs to break a 1-1 tie, going 2 for 3 at the plate. He has 2 hits. He's given up 4. A very good day for Jay Happ. These fans love it. And the Astros have a nice lead, 7-1 in the 8th. Edge in hits. 15-4. Going to the bullpen now after Jay Happ took them the first 7 at 2/3, allowing just 4 hits. And he talks now with Brad Arnsberg after the excellent outing for Jay Happ. He was behind 1-0 after the first 3 batters, but then really brought things around and got a lot of outs in the air today.
Yeah, he works up and down very well. You know, he throws that high fastball, little cutter in on the righties, and then complements it with the curveball that he keeps down around the knees and below. And made it tough for the Marlin hitters to lock in. A good, solid effort from Happ this afternoon. And the bullpen has struggled for the Astros in the early going, but they have breathing room, and Mark Melancon gets his 5th turn in 2011. He's got no wins, no losses, and more importantly, no ERA for 3 2/3 innings of work.
Mark inherits 2 runners after the walks, and it's Mike Stanton, the batter. He's 0 for 2. 13 outs in the air for Jay Happ today. Stanton got one of those when he lined out to shortstop. He taps this one foul. There's strike 1 from the 26-year-old right-hander Mark Melanson from Wheat Ridge, Colorado, and the University of Arizona. He is a key man in the Astros bullpen. Wilton Lyon is the 8th inning setup man. Brandon Lyon the closer. A lot of times on many clubs, the guys who get the 7th inning still jockeying for position this early in the year. Strike, and it's 0-2.
A lot of times it's just a matter of who's pitching well at the time. The guys that are on a nice roll, those are the guys you're going to use to protect leads. The other guys will be pitching games where the club's behind a few runs, and then if they pitch well, then they'll move up the ladder a little bit, get more meaningful assignments.
A little chop to the left side. Downs lets it go. Sanchez with the play. And it's no runs, no hits. A couple of men left in the middle of the 8th inning. It is 7-1 Astros. Hard blast. We flash back to Friday night. The last Astro home run came in the 9th inning from Brett Wallace, number 1 of the year, and a long drive to left center field. That's where the power is for Brett Wallace. Today, Brett has 1 hit. He's 1 for 4. And everybody in the Astros starting lineup, including pitcher Jay Happ, who had a pair, has reached the hit column today. Now we're going to see a pinch hitter, Joe Inglet, batting for Mark Melanson. And Inglet is 0 for 4 pinch hitting this season, trying for his first hit as an Astro. Jay Happ in 7 2/3 innings allowed 4 hits, 1 run, walking 4, fanning 5, hitting a batter. Mark Melanson retired the only man he faced. And Ryan Webb throws strike 1. For the Marlins, Randy Choate retired the only man he faced with a strikeout. Mujica hit the only batter he faced with no runs allowed. Brian Sanchez with scoreless ball, and there's a liner to third. Inglet retired, 1 out.
See why Inglet had such success as a pinch hitter last year for the Brewers. He's got a nice short stroke. Keep swinging it like that, and he will be rewarded.
Michael Bourne has 2 of the Astros' 15 hits. A pair of doubles for Michael. Michael takes Last night the Marlins had 6 doubles. Today the Astros have had 6 doubles. All 1. Kansas City 9, Detroit 5. A final from Detroit. Comerica Park. Hochevar beat Porcello. 2-0.
Everybody getting in on the act. Top of the order, most impressive. 7 hits combined for Bourne, Sanchez, and Pence. A couple of doubles down there at the bottom for Q. Happ, it's a big day.
Strike makes it 2-1 to Michael. Mike Leake on the mound for Cincinnati with a 3-0 lead at Arizona after 1. St. Louis and San Francisco are tied 1-1 after 2. The Giants going for a sweep. Cardinals are 2-6. They lost a tough one last night. In the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs, Miguel Tejada with 2 men on base hit a fly ball to left center field, and Colby Rasmus made the run to get there, but the left fielder John Jay was close to him, and he kind of shied away and dropped the ball on the warning track as 2 runs scored to win the game. It was ruled a double by Tejada. 3-2. So the Cardinals also close to winning that one, and Ryan Franklin has 3 blown saves already in 4 opportunities this year.
Miggy was probably throwing spotlights all over the place.
He does get people charged up. Very exciting, exuberant player. Giants have had the karma going. Foul away. Even though it's the Colorado Rockies who are holding down first place.
Nice play, Bish.
Rockies are 6-2 with their win today. Bourne takes a walk. Michael's on for the 3rd time.
I don't need no stinking glove. No, makes the play and then remembers to pay homage to his favorite player.
Nice. Craig getting ready for the final few games for his high school team as he coaches it. St. Thomas. Just 3 regular season games to go before the playoffs. And the last few opportunities for Connor and Cavan to play together as teammates. Sanchez is 2 for 4. And they strike 1.
This guy's got a nice arm. Webb, big kid, about 6'6". Ball really jumps out of his hand. 94 miles an hour on that last one with good running action.
It was a part of the Cameron Maben trade coming from San Diego. Liner into right. Sanchez clocks another one to the opposite field. His 3rd hit.
That's what you ask for if you're Mike Barnett, even though it's a 7-1 game. Hey, guys, keep the line moving, keep having good at-bats. And that's exactly what has happened in this inning. England hit the ball hard. A walk by Bourne and a good line drive single off the bat of Angel Sanchez.
He and Hunter Pence both have a dozen hits to lead the club. Now Barney's got to be enjoying the show today with 16 hits. Hunter Pence is 3 for 4. He sprayed the ball all around. It hits to right, center, and left, and a hard grounder to shortstop. Two men on for Hunter with Carlos Lee on deck. Cleveland leads in the early going at Seattle 4-0, 5-0 now in the 3rd. Strike 1 to Hunter. Yankees in Boston tonight at Fenway. Sabathia versus Beckett. Boston 1-7 to open the season. Dodgers in San Diego 1-1 last of the 3rd inning. John Eli starting for Los Angeles. It's 0-2 for Ryan Webb. The Angels have the jump on Toronto 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th in Anaheim. lost to the Angels in 14 innings last night. Strike call. Hunter caught looking. 2 outs. Webb went with a breaking pitch.
Kind of a low 3/4 delivery, and then the breaking ball over the outside third. Hunter locked up. See that front side leaking a little bit. He'll be looking for that sinker moving in toward him.
Carlos Lee is 1 for 4. To right field, Mike Stanton moves in. In the 8th for the Astros, no runs, a hit, 2 men stranded. Moving to the 9th, it's 7-1 Houston.
Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And also stick around, because coming up following the ball game, we'll have Astros Live post game. Kevin Eschenfelder and Art Howe are out in the left field Landry's Crawford boxes. They'll anchor it from there. But we're also going to be hearing from Michael Bourne, Hunter Pence, manager Brett Mills, and of course the starting pitcher Jay Happ. So that's all coming up on the post-game show right after the final out.
That's a big show in store for you. Anuri Rodriguez will take the mound first with that high ERA of 15.43 for just 3 appearances. He's allowed runs in all 3. A chance for him to get a 0 on the board for the first time as a major leaguer.
Yeah, he has not been out there for 4 or 5 days, so obviously well rested and ready to roll. Comfortable 6-run lead. So kind of a low-stress situation for the young righty.
Facing Gabby Sanchez. He's 0 for 3. Gets a first pitch breaker for ball 1. Last outing for Anuri was at Cincinnati on Tuesday in the 8-2 loss. He gave up 1 run in 1 inning. Inside it goes. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Minnesota's batting in the last of the 9th, trailing Oakland 5-3. Hideki Matsui has homered for the A's, along with Josh Willingham, who hit his 3rd. Jim Thome went deep for the Twins. Two balls and a strike. Washington got 4 in the 11th and leads 7-3 at New York in the bottom of the 11th. And it's Nix hit his first homer. Cubs are leading 5-4, bottom of the 8th at Milwaukee with Kerry Wood in relief. Cubs are here tomorrow night to open a 3-game series. First meeting of the season between the NL Central rivals. Ryan Dempster and Nelson Figueroa tomorrow night, 7:05 on My 20.
Always a little extra buzz when the Cubs come to town.
Boy, there is. Cubs have Carlos Pena at first base this year. Mike Quade, who took over last season, did a good job. Ryan Sandberg and others were interviewed, but Quade was brought back to open the season as the Cubs skipper. And there's our coverage beginning at 7 o'clock tomorrow night to see Mike Quade and the Cubs take on Brad Mills and the Astros. Sanchez hit by a pitch, and now Rodriguez has been tossed out of the game by Jim Joyce.
Yeah, you could almost see that coming when he threw inside to Sanchez at the beginning of the at-bat. And Joyce kind of looked at him with a bit of a wary eye. And I think Jim Joyce is seeing a whole lot more than anybody else does in these instances.
Well, now Brad Mills is in the same situation as Edwin Rodriguez. Prior to this, he has not warmed up a pitcher.
Yeah, and Millsy's saying, why are we going to throw at this guy? And Millsy's probably saying, I'm not even convinced that their guy was throwing at our guy. But Jimmy Joyce, for whatever reason, is seeing a lot of evil intent here from these pitchers. First Mujica, now Rodriguez tossed from this ball game with a couple of hip pocket fastballs.
Well, they're even. We're not sure why, but Jeff Fulcino will be coming out of the Astros bullpen.
It's almost like, and I don't know if Jim has done this on his own or if the umpires conferred and said, look, Hall took out Ramirez. If anybody takes a shot at Hall, we're going to assume it's retribution. And so he tossed Mujica, and now he felt compelled to toss Rodriguez in response to the previous hit batsman.
Now Jeff Fulcino, who was not warming up, will need some extra time. Greg Lucas, from your perspective, what's going on?
Well, I was just wondering, Jim Joyce was umpiring at second base when that whole situation happened a couple of days ago. And while they all said the right things after the game, you kind of wonder what they may have said initially that he heard.
Yeah, well, I know what Hanley said. He said, ah! Yeah. He wasn't doing a whole lot of talking. He was just in a lot of pain.
And the point was on the replay when you see it, it's a clean slide, except it wasn't. It was a breakup slide. He was not close to he was close enough. They're not going to automatically call him out, but he was not real close to the base when he did hit him. So, Jim Joyce is out there. He saw it all. So maybe that was what arose his suspicion today.
Well, we're not sure, but he's reading intent. And now Brad Mills is coming out to talk again with Jim Joyce after conferring with Brad Arnsberg.
Yeah, and in fairness with the umpires, it is my understanding that the league over the years has told the umpires to be pretty tough in these situations to, with hit batsmen. But I don't know. I think if Mujica was throwing at Bill Hall, I'm guessing he did it on his own without being told by his manager or pitching coach, and he just decided he was going to take a shot. And it'd be interesting if you were to survey all the Astro players, any of the ex-players, anybody that's been in or around the game for a long time, you would not get a consensus. A lot of guys would say, no way was he throwing at Hall in that situation. Other guys would go, yeah, for sure he was. And nobody really knows. There's no way of knowing.
Well, for Bill Hall's part, he was asked about the play Friday night, a slide into Ramirez, and he said, well, when he heard Andy Ramirez yelling, he felt really bad, but he said, I was trying to do what you're taught to do, go shin on shin and take him out of the play. And with the slowly unfolding play there, Ramirez had his back to the base runner into first, and he was turned, and it really wasn't a double play situation, but he was trying to turn a double play. He had a long time to be exposed there to the base runner at second.
And when you have your back to the base runner, you don't know where he's going with his slide, so you're not sure exactly which way to move to try to get out of harm's way. I just thought it was a good, hard, clean baseball play. And again, everything that we heard from Hanley after the game, publicly anyway, he said all the right things. No, just good, hard baseball. But perhaps there was a conversation in their clubhouse amongst teammates that said otherwise.
It is puzzling.
Yeah, and you could, Mujica, if we want to get real deep into trying to break down the psychology of all this, maybe, he's new with this club. Ramirez is the star player. Maybe he figures he's going to endear himself to his teammates by retaliating. But again, I'm not convinced that wasn't just a fastball that got away.
Right. Well, we only have 4 commentators here. We need more commentators to figure this out because we're still puzzled. But after an exchange of hit batsmen, we move to further action in the ninth.
That's right, Lindsey Nelson. Notre Dame takes over at the Michigan State 37.
And now it's Jeff Fulcino with an ERA of 4.5 in 4 games, facing John Buck. Buck is 1 for 3, a double. Taking strike 1.
I know his ejections and long warm-ups are costing us a chance to watch the Masters. Come on, Jimmy.
Well, of course, we flash back to last season and the Jim Joyce call in Detroit, costing Armando Galarraga of the Tigers that perfect game. But what a man of great integrity, though, to come in and apologize to him after the game, admit that he blew the call, and he gained enormous respect for what he did last year.
Yeah, that really was a great story for both Jim and Galarraga, the way they handled that situation.
Fulcino gets a swing and a miss from John Buck and whiffs him. Let's go back to Friday night. Bill Hall slide Friday night into Ramirez.
Ramirez with his back to the plate, turning to try to make the double play. Hall catches the bag with his back foot and then goes shin on shin into Ramirez. And again, there's no further incident Friday night, nothing yesterday. No conversation from either clubhouse about there being ill will.
That's so puzzling. I agree with you. If the Marlins were so incensed, they would have done something last night, wouldn't they?
Well, again, sometimes you have to, whether it's they or he.
Yeah.
It may be that the Marlins have no issue, that their manager, most of their players have no issue whatsoever, but that doesn't mean an individual pitcher might see it in his own, his own twisted point of view, might say, I'm going to take a shot at him for hitting my guy.
Good point. Very good point.
The idea that all these are called from the bench or discussed at great length, I don't buy that. I think sometimes guys just respond. Again, whether Mujica, if we assume he did it on purpose, and I don't think he did, but if we do, I think he just did it on his own.
Good point. Greg Dobbs, the pinch hitter here. Dobbs off to a very nice start this season, hitting .600. 6 for 10 with a homer and 5 runs batted in. 2 for 4 pinch hitting. Jeff Fulcino said he has not yet obtained his Yukon gear from the national championship game in basketball.
I played with a guy in the minor leagues. Anytime he ever got hit or even come close to, he'd be yelling once he get back to the dugout after his bat. They'd brush him back, and then he'd have this feeble at bat, and he'd pop up, and he'd come back to the dugout. Somebody's going down. And if you're a pitcher, you're like, no, nobody's going down. I got to try to get out here and win a ball game.
Fly ball to Lee and left. 2 outs. These teams will not meet again for a while. In case you're wondering about any retribution being carried forward, it'll be July 7th in Florida. But I would say whatever score that somebody thought had to be settled has been settled.
Yeah, and the good news for both these hit batsmen, they're in the they were in the hip, they're in the backside. There's nothing up around the head. There's nothing dangerous.
Good point. 2 outs, and now Donnie Murphy. As a back, strike 1.
I just hope Jeff doesn't let a fastball get away and hit Murphy, because then we'd have to warm up another pitcher.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the danger of a situation like this. If he's 0 for 2 with a walk, the Astros have a high for hits in a game since last August. Foul back, 0 and 2, so that gives them the luxury of going through these things like ejections and still being in a position to have this 6-run lead, walk off the field very happy despite what happened today. Fans have loved the show. A 16-hit show with 6 doubles. And Jay Happ, the central figure, with 2 hits, 2 runs batted in, and 7 2/3 innings of good baseball. And Fulcino gets the strikeout to end it. Well, the Astros get their first home win Volchino getting the strikeout on Murphy. Strikes out 2 in the 9th inning. Happ the winning pitcher. Anibal Sanchez the loser. Final score: the Astros 7 and the Marlins 1.